Hey everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Javier In The Air. This is actually take 3 for what I'm trying to do here. You won't get to see take 2 or take 1. So I decided to try something a little bit different this time, and I'm trying to get it right so that I can eventually use it for when I'm interviewing people. So I'm trying to get the, excuse the light here, I'm trying to get the light just right so that you can see it better on me on both instances. So here's the main camera that I like to use that I have attached to my laptop for the time being, and then I got a brand new web camera on sale, of course, because that's who I am, right here in this little bad boy. So I tuned it so that it's just on one microphone, so we all should be good to go. Okay, so I hope everybody had a good week. If you were in San Antonio, I hope you enjoyed Fiesta Week. For those of you who may not know, Fiesta Week is about a 10-day slew of parties across San Antonio. I mean, some of the things that included are NIOSA, which stands for Night in Old San Antonio, where they have different booths, and each booth represents or can represent an ethnic section, more or less to say, of San Antonio, as it was when it was really young city. Now there's not really that demarcation for the most part. And then there's also La Villita, and there's also the parades, and one of them is the Battle of Flowers parade, which usually occurs the week or two before Easter. And then there is the Fiesta Flambeau Parade, which is one of the last night parades in the country. So if you ever get a chance and you like parades, definitely the Flambeau is the one to go. Even though they call it a night parade now, and I think the way they did it this year, if I'm not mistaken, it didn't really go that much into the night because it's so late. But it could also be where you see it, because it's about 5 miles long, and so if you see it at the end, it may be truly night by the time you get to see it. So I'm not sure about this year, so maybe one of you guys who were out there this weekend could let me know how it went, where you were located, and whether it was actually at night or not. But it's still considered a night parade. So, but let's turn that to the side. Let's get to some exciting new things. For those of you who have been watching the show, welcome back. For those of you who are just started watching the show, welcome. This is Javier In The Air, where I do a podcast where I tried my best to get guests on the show. So it's not just about me talking and talking and talking. Last week we had the lovely Beth Roundtree for EXP Realty, and no one this week, but next week I will have the lovely Stacy from the jelly manufacturing company called Crazy Stacy's Jellies and Jams. I don't know if it's Jellies and Jams, but it's definitely Crazy Stacy. And she's going to be bringing me a treat on our next interview. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a great one. So for those of you, back to what I was saying, for those of you who have not been watching the show for a while, or haven't been watching it at all, and this is your first time, I had on a couple of weeks ago a video showing the project of getting a new patio slab poured for myself. So I had professionals do it. I wasn't going to try it. I am handy. I'm pretty good at some things. I am not good when it comes to pouring concrete. I will be the first to tell you. I've never really taken it on, even though I may do it for another project, but that project will be okay if it's not even. And I would really, hate myself if I took on a big project like that patio and it was crooked. So anyway, the guys did a great job, MP Horseshoe Construction, and they came out and tore down the old deck and poured a new slab, 27 by 12. So, spring forward, almost 4 weeks, and the gentleman told me I could start staining in 4 weeks. So, what I did this weekend was a patio stain project that I am willing to help people out by giving them instructions, maybe being a consultant on how they can go about staining the patio deck on their own. I am not in the business, nor do I want to be in the business. I have total respect for those guys because my body was totally destroyed today after getting most of the staining done. I still have to wait for the sealer to be put on, but I have to wait a couple of days on that. So let's just switch over to the patio project and we'll take a look and see what we got. Here we are, the patio project. As you can see, it's prepped. I pressure washed it last night, leaf blew it this morning. There's still some leaves anyway, but I'm going with terracotta and Bombay. So you can see, thankfully Julia has helped me mark out what needs to be terracotta and what does not. So I'll come back and show you the terracotta side. Alright, here is the part 1. This is the terracotta, which now that I went with it I really like. Has a bit more orange than some people were thinking, but it's totally terracotta. And part 2 I will come back with the Bombay and fill in the white spots. So this is the first coat. It's pretty thick. Well, it's not that thick, but it's thick enough that second coat is more just for a touch-up than anything else. There's the steps that you see, and looks pretty good. Okay, here's part 2. The middle color now is called Bombay. So now I have terracotta and Bombay in diamond pattern, and I also did the steps on the rise part of it. I need to do some touch up there, both colors, but I think I'll let that go for tomorrow because I'm gonna have to go with the smaller brush to make sure I don't just keep doing mess up and then do the other one mess up and so on. But there we go. Okay, so here is the almost final piece. I have done 2 or 3 different touch-ups now. The Bombay, which is the lighter color of course, has 2 coats on it. The terracotta has 2 coats on it in some parts with the lots of touch-ups. I had to start doing by hand the brushing because using the roller gets you speckles onto the terracotta, and then you use the roller on the terracotta and you get speckles on the white, on the Bombay. So this is, like I said, almost finished. The only thing is I need to in about an hour go and pick up some sealer, but you're not going to really notice a difference with that. So there's the patio project. Okay, for those of you that might be like me and a very stickler for trying to get things as close to perfect as possible, even though I'm an amateur at this thing. Now, this picture looks a little weird, but the thing is because the concrete is really rough. However, what I did was I used this straight edge that I had for applying drywall or paste to the drywall to, you know, get out the seams and everything. And that tiny brush that you see on top of the paint can lid, no, that's not a standard brush. That's like an artist brush that I had laying around, and I was able to get a straight edge as much as possible on there. Let me tell you, it's some work, and if you have bad knees like I do, you're laying down in odd positions trying to get it to do it. But it worked, and it came out really good. Okay, so there you have the patio project. I hope you enjoyed looking at it as much as I enjoyed doing it. And let me tell you something, it is really good. I really enjoy doing stuff like this. Of course my body does not, but I enjoy doing it. So it was a labor of love for sure. I got it done and it turned out really good. So I got the For those of you who are interested, I went to Sherwin-Williams to get the concrete stain, which I highly recommend when you're going to do something like this, because yeah, they get sold at Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that, but for some reason, every time I've gone to Sherwin-Williams, I've gotten a little bit better price and a little bit more hands-on help from the people that work at Sherwin-Williams. I go to Lowe's and they just go, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Well, is this going to work for this or is this going to work for that?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." No idea, right? So I'm like, okay, well, if you have no idea, then you're not really going to help me. But I struggle through and I get it done. When I Sherwin-Williams, there was a nice young lady there, and I said, "Well, I'm looking for concrete stain," and she's like, "I know what you want." So she went over there and she said, "Well, are you looking to stain it? Are you looking for oil base? Are you looking for water base? Are you looking for a certain color? Or are you looking for this? Are you looking for that? Is it new concrete or is it old concrete?" She was very knowledgeable, and then when I said it was new concrete, she said, "All right, well, you don't have to do any extra prep then, other than just making sure it's clean and dry, and you laid out what you want." And I said, I know the colors that I want. Excuse me. So it turns out that I was going to go with terracotta red, which was a choice that a lot of people had made on Facebook when I asked them what were some of the choices of colors that I could use. The problem with terracotta red is, one, they didn't seem to have it anymore, so she didn't have the breakdown as to what she needed to add to the base in order to make the color. So that was problem number one, which I'm sure we probably could have figured out some way, or really gone into the archives or something. But problem number two was that I looked at the red tile. They did have something called red tile, and online it was kind of similar to the terracotta red, and it was red. I mean, I wish I. Oh, here's how red it looked. This is how red it looked on the piece of concrete they had, and that was another thing. So one of the helpful things is that they had all these stains on a piece of concrete there at Sherwin-Williams. I know they don't do this at Lowe's or Home Depot. They just have like little things that aren't concrete. So to me, the red was really too much red. I like red, but it would almost kind of look like we're in some weird pseudo horror hospital type of thing if I went with it, especially in the checkered pattern that I wanted to going with. So I decided against it, and I went with terracotta, which is more of an orange. Now it has a little bit more orange than I expected. In the paint can, it was a little bit duller, probably because it was wet and still on there, but I like it, so it's good. And the Bombay, it's hard to tell now that I really painted, but you have to remember the concrete was gray. So gray, I mean, it was a light gray, but it was gray. So this has also helped dampen a little bit of the sunlight, because right now I don't have any cover on it, so it's just out there for the elements. And when I first had it poured, the concrete was super light gray, almost white, and the sun was like a magnifying glass, just blowing it back into your faces. And when you came out that back door, you were like, "Oh my God!" So I went ahead and made a conscious decision to try to go with some stain that would absorb a little bit of the sunlight, a little bit. It's still going to absorb a lot, and so I'll have to worry about it fading, which is why I need to get the sealant on there as much as I can. So, okay, so that was the patio project. If anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, be sure and let me know. You can email me. You can reply to the YouTube podcast. You can get me on Facebook if you have me on Facebook. Pretty much I'm available to just about anybody. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any comments or concerns about it. Also, if you have any interest in trying to stain concrete yourself, I can give you some tools, tips and tricks on how to do it. I'm not going to help you do it, but I can tell you how you can go about doing it. And if you have any children of a certain age, you can certainly get them to help you, because that's what we used to do back in the day. So let's move on now to... why don't we do our old man rant? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for everyone's favorite old man rant. Yeah. Okay, so I was out at the park yesterday. I was out at the park last week, And I noticed that this park, which is out in Cedar Park, I believe it is called Sculpture Park, and it has sculptures all over the place. Now, I love art. However, if you're going to put art out there in the wild, and you're going to put like a cinder track around it, how about you keep it up? Do you not have anybody watching this? You need to have people watching it. Here, we found a water break. It was watering the sidewalk in the middle of the day, a 90-degree heat. So isn't that great use of whatever money they're trying to use for this? Also, here's another one. So you notice a nice cinder track. It laid out what was probably a beautiful setup in the first place, and they just let it go to crap. So look at all these weeds out here. This is ridiculous. And I'd like to know who is supposed to be maintaining it and why aren't they maintaining it, because what could have been a very nice, and probably was very nice in the beginning, now looks like it's just all neglected, and it actually detracts from a park. And that's my old man rant for today. Cedar Park, figure it out and fix it. Whoa, so there's old man rant with old man having a rant about Cedar Park, and actually Cedar Park Sculpture Park, and the issues with that. So hey, if you have any comments or concerns, or you agree with old man Hav, then be sure and send a note or a comment, or you can send it to me and I'll get it to him. Or we can have somebody on here who would have a dissenting opinion. If somebody from Cedar Park Parks and Rec, or their beautification society, or whoever is supposed to be in charge of that park, can maybe come on the show and let me know why that's not being taken care of. And by the way, some of that growth, that's not new. So I don't want to hear like, hey, well, during COVID and blah blah blah. That's not a multi-person task. That's and where's the monies that went to that? If you had the money to put in the sculptures and put in the nice little cinder track walkway to walk around the sculptures, which are very nice by the way, then you should be able to pay it. So have someone clean it up. Okay, so that was my old man rant on my old man rant. Okay, so now we're going to take things down, we're going to calm things out a little bit, and I am going to have our Zen moment. So everybody get ready for our Zen moment. Clouds roll out, happy memories. The sun, the sky, the picnics at the park, the ball games where you made that hit that won the game for your team, fishing with an uncle. Clouds roll in, sad memories. When you scraped your knee, that time you struck out and lost the game for your team, the rained out fishing trip. Clouds roll out, happy memories. Passing that really hard test, laughing with your friends, your first kiss. Clouds roll in, sad memories. Failing that crucial test, crying as you have no friends, watching as that first kiss never comes your way. All these moments in time were there under the clouds as they moved in and out of your world, through your life. Ever watchful, judging not, simply being as they float and ride the wind. And like the clouds, these memories of your life get taken away and brought back to you at the whim of the wind. But for all these memories, both happy and sad, should never really be taken from you. They make you who you are, and for that you should look up at those clouds and smile. And the clouds will take that as well, and spread it amongst the earth. In memory of Manuel Ayala. Okay, so there you have it, Zen moment. Wanted to give a shout out to the audio. Let me see who that was. For the Zen moment, that audio was called Clear Sky. And for the opening credits, that is a very interesting song called Meet Me at the Oak Tree. And someone pointed out to me the other day I do have a lot of references to trees and stuff, but I'm in a really cool place, Cedar Park, and there's a lot of trees everywhere. Unfortunately, a lot of mine died, but I'm hoping to bring some back, as you'll see going forward through time on Javier In The Air. So I hope you enjoyed the Zen moment. If you hadn't seen it before, it's something a little different. I'd like to bring it. I started doing it this season, or maybe towards the end of last season, and gotten some really good feedback on it. So if you have some feedback on it, be sure and let me know. Switching over to view this camera now. Also, like I said, let me know what you think about the 2-camera angle. I know with just me, you're just getting twice the fun, and it's not as much fun because there's no one else here. So it'd be interesting to see how it pans out when I get someone else here on the show. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to our Spirit Times. Javier In The Air presents Spirit Time. We hope you enjoy as Javier takes a look at either a beer, a wine, or an alcohol and gives his review. Hey, thanks everybody. Welcome to Spirit Time. For those of you who have watched it before, you know what this is all about. For those of you who haven't, I'll tell you what it is. So I started this show originally by doing beer reviews for a friend of mine out at the Boutique. But I moved into a podcast, so I decided it was time I would do a review also, incorporate it into the podcast. And then as this season started, I was given the recommendation, why not change it to Spirit Time, hence spirits, for all the alcohol that I will be drinking on the show. So remember to drink responsibly if you want. I don't know. It's not my control, it's your control. You should be able to control yourself. And drink with friends if you can. I don't like to drink on my own, but today and most often when I'm filming, it's usually just me. But you have seen some tastings that I've done, and you have seen Brother Rob come over and neighbor James and Zyda come over and have some drinks with me, so it's not just me doing it. But I try to bring something different every time, so it starts getting interesting when it comes to wines and liquor, but with beer, not a problem. So the Boutique, again, Scott and Jana do a great job of providing me with continual beers. So this has been a labor of love, so to speak. So today I am actually bringing you Hopping Frog out of Akron, Ohio. So go OSU for those of you who are OSU fans. For those of you who aren't, suck it up. This is called Infusion A Coffee Porter. Porter with coffee added. You can go to their website, www.hoppingfrog.com. If anybody from Hopping Frogs actually watches this podcast, welcome. If you have any other beers you'd like for me to try and review, be sure and send them my way. Just let me know how you want to send them. It looks like they got some crazy function formulae on the can itself. I'll show it to you here in a minute. Let's see if I can find the ABV. It's 6.2, so a little bit low for the show, but it still works. Like I said, they're out of Akron, Ohio, and it says swirls of heavenly chocolate and peanut butter. Flavors surround your senses as you enjoy this wonderful maze of complexity that is Infusion A. So there you have it, Akron, Ohio, 44306. Alright, so let's give it a shot. So let me, actually, now that I have two cameras, I can do this. Hopping Frog Infusion A, so now I can look at it while I'm actually doing it. Hey, I like this two-camera thing. Okay, so there you are, Hopping Frog Infusion A, and you can see the formula at the top. right there. Very interesting. So way to go, Hopping Frog, to have something that holds your interest while you're drinking a beer, especially if you're drinking alone, which you shouldn't do. There it is. Okay, let's give it a pour, see what we got. Wow, a lot of foam on there. I couldn't even get the whole beer in. So let's hold that up. As you can see, you get some reddish brown and light brown coloration from the foam. The alcohol itself, or the beer itself, is really dark brown, dark brown. You can almost call it black, actually. Really a lot of foam on there. I don't see it going down much. So let's just dive in and take a shot. See what we get. Well, I haven't even gotten to the alcohol, to the beer yet. That foam is really thick. Hopefully the hairs of my mustache will calm it down a little bit. Now I do get the definitely do get the swirls of, I think it says chocolate and peanut butter for sure. I haven't tasted the beer yet. I'm still trying to get to it from all the head on there. No pun intended. There we go. You can definitely taste the coffee, and you definitely have notes of the chocolate and the peanut butter that kind of hit you at once, kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup. And not exactly the same way, but it's there. I mean, it's definitely, you're not missing out on the chocolate and peanut butter, that's for sure. It's light. It's kind of refreshing. You definitely get that chocolate. Now you get the porter on the back end. I'm sorry, the porter and coffee. You're not. What would normally you refer to as a porter is the kind of the way it hits, for me anyway, the kind of way it hits the back of my throat there, and that's where the coffee is residing as well. So let me try again. Definitely a good beer. Definitely you get more of the first blush as you would, which is that first taste when you get that first sip of not first sip of every time you drink this beer, is where what I'm talking about, that you get the notes of chocolate and peanut butter. And so definitely is something, give it here again. I love that 2 camera. So let me think about this for a minute. Good beer overall, definitely a decent porter. I would have liked maybe a bit more coffee in it, as it is a coffee porter. I know it's a porter with coffee added, which is not the same as starting out with coffee in the beer itself. But I do like it. I could see myself drinking this with chocolate cake, maybe a good steak with the coffee rub on it. I would also recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it with super sweet stuff like ice cream or anything like that. That's not, even though you're getting the hints of the coffee and you're getting the broad notes of the chocolate and peanut butter, that's not how that works. So don't think you can pour it over your ice cream and it's good. I don't think you're going to get that at all. But I do like it. So I'm going to give this let me give it a 6.5 thumbs up. 6.5 thumbs up. And let me hold this up again while I'm here. Hopping Frog, this is their Infusion A. Coffee, porter with coffee added. 6.5 thumbs up. Hopping Frog, if you feel I have erred in my judgment of my review of your beer, please reach out to me and send me what you would like for me to taste and review. Or if you'd like to be on my show, then just reach out to me. I'll have you on the show, and we can talk more about beer and have a whole separate podcast where we just talk about your beer and how it is in Akron, Ohio, and where you get all your ingredients from and that sort of thing. I think it'd be fascinating. I think my viewers would love to see it. So, Hopping Frog, there you have it. Thanks for watching Spirit Times. And there you have it. Another episode of Javier In The Air in the books. So I want to thank everybody who watched the show today. Again, thank you for watching. If this is your first time, I hope that you will click on that subscribe button and get notifications every week that there's another exciting episode of Javier In The Air. Like I said, I am always looking for more people to interview. If you are not in the Cedar Park, Austin area, that's okay. I can get you on Zoom anyway. If you are worried about COVID and you do live in this area and you don't want to be that close to me, I can figure it out. If you would like to be on the show so that we can talk directly person to person and maybe get some dialogue going, I would definitely love to see that. So just shoot me a message if you're interested. If you know someone that is interested, have them reach out to me. I've been burned in the past trying to reach out to people that other people have told me to reach out to. So I feel it's best if the person interested wants to be interviewed, wants to be on my show, you reach out to me so that I know you're interested and not just someone saying that you're interested. So let's do that. And like I said, next week we're going to have Crazy Stacy. She's going to be bringing us a new jelly for her. And we're going to talk a little bit about Be The Light Craft Fair that's coming out on the 23rd. Right up the street here off of El Solito. So if you're interested in going, it's definitely going to be a great thing to do. And I will see you next week, and I hope everybody has a good week, and I hope you stay safe. Thanks a lot, everyone.